This episode of the Nerdball Podcast is sponsored by Jake Paluski at Real JP Multimedia. He does the music for this podcast. He has produced this podcast. If you need anything audio-visual done, he is the man to see at realjp.com, REELJP.com. Let's start the show.
Hi, I'm Lee Cochran, and I'm on the Nerdball Podcast. Hope we have a good time.
This is the Nerdball Podcast with Lorenzo Melcher.
All right, Lee, thanks for joining me on the podcast. This is the 2 in a row of uncles of some of my best friends. I had Kurt's uncle on last episode, and now I got another uncle on. Man, thanks for coming on.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Yeah, I was listening to that, and I thought the same thing. Well, the first thing I thought is, this is podcast what number?
This is 102.
And it took you so long to get to me.
I do.
Hey, I'm not offended at all. I'm good, Lorenzo. I'm good. But as long as I'm the second uncle on here, it's really good.
Yeah, man. And I've known you for a long time, and since I've been in high school is when we met. And I always liked going over Trey's mom and stepdad's house because it was like my second family. And then whenever I met more of you, I'm like, man, this is even more like another family, because it like you and Jonna always treated us like just another kid running around.
Yeah, and that's what we've always looked at, and I think it says a lot about our family too. To be honest, you know, we've always been like that. But you guys were good guys. If you guys were, jerks. Yeah. You know, I don't think it would have been as easy. I think, I've seen Kurt every so often. I don't think he thinks I'm a jerk anymore for throwing his bike up on the roof. But
wait, what's that story? I don't know that story.
You have to, yeah. Well, we just decided to try to hide his bicycle from him when he was younger. We threw it up on the roof.
That's so funny. Oh, that's good.
I'm starting out early. But yeah, what's funny is you get when you said something to me a while ago about getting on the podcast, I start thinking of all these things that come back, the house of Louisiana, and I know that went up for sale a few years ago. And I know you guys are sitting there going, man, we ought to buy that daggone thing.
We thought about it.
It's almost a historic landmark. With everything that happened, but you guys were, growing up, you guys were ornery, but you guys were good kids. And that's what always impressed me, and to see how your group grew up into, good adults too. Yeah. I think that's also been fun for me to watch too. I mean, you're a great father. Trey is. I know Curdy's going to be. Yeah. I mean, it's just Big Jim. It's just fun to see.
Yeah, and I would imagine if you didn't feel that way, even way back then, you wouldn't have invited a handful of kids that quickly turned into 15 kids to stay the night in your house.
15. I'd be careful on that one, Lorenzo, because it was Trey. Were you in that first group?
Yeah.
You were in the first group, and then Trey says, "Hey, I think a couple other people might come down." I said, "Yeah, that's fine, no problem." And then it got to be more and more, and I'll never forget. And Taylor and I were talking about this when I told her I was coming on the podcast. I remember, her saying she was going to go down and get some cereal, and she stopped. She goes, "Dad, I can't." And I said, "Why?" She goes, "I can't walk anywhere," and people were just lined up. I went down there and I thought, oh my God, this is what Jonestown had to look like. There were just stacks of people, and I just picked her up and just kind of, went through plate operation kind of. Yeah. It was just kind of funny. I literally thought of that. It's things like that. It's being up there in Louisiana, and you guys just kicking the crap out of me and Uncle Lynn in NCAA football.
Yeah.
And I think I had to talk Lynn from wrangling Trey's neck, because every Trey would just call his play and then hit the spin button, go whoop, whoop, and Lynn was doing the thing you're not supposed to, just dive, punch, dive, but it's just those kind of funny things that makes you think of it. You've always got memories, but sometimes they need a reason to come to the forefront.
Yeah, and you're right, about that, their house going up for sale, and we were texting about it and everything, and then ended up getting demolished, and someone built a brand new home there. But even when I drive by, I always look at the house, and you instantly think of just all the times we had over there and how fun it was. It was so, and it was you just felt safe there too. And like I said, it's just another home. It's not just a house. It was another home that you knew you could go. You could stay the night there. You didn't have to ask anybody. You knew what, so it was nice. It was a cool place to be all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sure was. That was I think the one New Year's Eve party, your mom and dad came over.
Yeah.
And they ruined me on ever eating Mexican food again, because that stuff was so good.
Dude. Yeah. Yeah. Growing up, man, that's all I ever ate. And then my dad actually had to tell my mom to scale it back a little bit because he was gaining too much weight. But we still probably had it 3 nights a week,
Oh, I remember Leslie pulled me aside. She goes, "Be careful." I was like, "Why?" She goes, "You're not going to eat anything like this again." I was like, "Damn."
It's still cool. Even now when my friends eat it, when my mom happens to cook, or we have someone over, like, I feel proud that my mom can cook this way, and that my friends and whoever else, other family, enjoy it, because people don't get it, and and they're always like you. They're just so like I love this stuff. Like, it's so good. And I feel like, I got to eat this stuff all the time. I'm awesome. You know?
Oh, come on, Mom. Can we have hot dogs tonight?
Well, if it wasn't, we had a lot of.
Let's eat American taco.
Yeah. If it wasn't that, it was it was always a spaghetti. My mom always made spaghetti on an off night, or a casserole when she was trying to clean everything out of the freezer. So
yeah, there you go. It's funny because John, 100% Irish, but the best food she can make is Italian.
Yeah,
she could make an Irish dish if you begged her to.
I feel like those are easy, because they always look like they're just made by a drunk person. They're just so messy, it seems like.
Well, plus there's no vegetables. It's just meat, and,
and some sort of gravy or sauce.
Yeah. I guess if you want to call potato a vegetable, but I don't know about that. Yeah.
Well, again, thanks for coming on. And you first of all, one of my first memories of seeing you is you were just this giant dude. You seemingly worked out every day. That's what it looked like. Was that the case when you were younger? Did you lift a lot?
No, I graduated high school probably 135 pounds.
Okay.
Graduated college probably closer to 145. And you dabbled with it in high school because, hey, you're supposed to lift weights for football.
Yeah.
And we'd go to a buddy, his brother's garage, and mess around a little bit, nothing really serious. But, if you want to hear the honest to goodness true story, John and I were living in an apartment in Morgantown, and it was close to, it was my senior year. And she came back and she said, "Hey, I wanted to join a gym. It was 2-for-1 memberships. And I got you one." I was like, "Well, you should just ask for half price, because I ain't going into a gym." Sorry. That's just not me. Because I was a runner.
Okay.
I was a runner.
Oh, wow.
Probably 2-3 months before that, a buddy of mine was over. He goes, "Why do you run so much?" I went, "I don't know."
Yeah.
I don't know. I never ran again.
Really?
And until the infamous race with Trey. But we were, she pulled down a jelly jar and said, "Can you open this for me?" I said, "Yeah, I'll get it." I went, did a vein shaking and everything. I said, "Well, it's just stuck. It's not going to work. Let me go get a screwdriver, because you can pop the side of it."
Yeah.
And she grabbed it. She goes, "Let me try." She goes, popped it right off. I said, where's that gym?
Yeah, no kidding.
No kidding. I said, but the weirdest, I walked into the gym and I did something that I don't know how many people would do, but I just stood there for a little bit and I found two of the bigger guys.
Yeah.
And just walked up to them and said, hey, I don't know much about this stuff. You guys obviously do. Do you mind helping someone out? I said, I pay you. I even told them, I'll pay you. I'll wash your car or I'll, cook dinner. Yeah. And they just thought I was a knucklehead enough. And they said, we're here every day at this time if you want to come down. So I did. And I started, and I learned a lot from them. The one guy ended up being in our wedding, being an usher in our wedding. And, but it was or supposed to be, but it was pretty fun. And, and then I kind of got into it. It was about 6 months later or so that we went to South Dakota to live. And, I found a good friend out there and a gym that was open 24 hours. And we just lift all hours. I won't say that at the time there wasn't a whole lot to do in South Dakota, but I found myself in the gym quite a bit, and I just liked it because if you lift and you lift the right way, you're gonna get size. Mm-hmm. But it goes back to the first thing I started with, that I just wanted to be strong.
Okay. That's
all I cared about, being strong. If that came with, getting bigger, great. But all I ever wanted to be was strong. And, I just, it's like I'd tell Johnny, there's a lot worse things I could be addicted to.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And joining a gym can be intimidating too. Like you said, like you went in knowing nothing. There's very few people that would have done what you did to say, go up to the two biggest guys. Hey, can you show me some stuff? Even now, I just joined the gym about 3 weeks ago. And I know now, because I'm almost 40, like you can't lift all the weight your first time back. You're going to hurt yourself. So I do some weight, just a little bit of weights, doing things. And I feel weird because I'm 6'2" and I'm like lifting this small amount of weight. Like people are looking at me like, what's wrong with that guy? Like I know nobody really cares, but that's how I feel in my brain. Like I'm starting back out. I ain't trying to hurt myself.
Yeah. Well, there's a friend of mine who wanted to get back into lifting, and that he's about 6'2". Mm-hmm. And I told him, I said, if you stick with this, I said, I can look good at 5'6". I said, but if you have mass at 6'2", you're a beast. Yeah. That I could never be. And that's the way it is for you. And the thing of it is, you'll add muscle mass now, even in your 40s. I mean, I've, when COVID hit and they shut everything down, I didn't lift any, and I've started going back, 4 or 5 days a week. And, I'm noticing the difference in me. Hell, I'm 57.
I was going to ask you if you were still actively doing it as much as you
did. Yeah. I was, what was it? Late 90s. I played one organized soccer game and tore my ACL.
Oh, geez.
In first half. And I had surgery all set. And I said, you know what? I did a lot of reading. I thought, you know what? I'm not gonna have the surgery. And the doctor who was going to do the surgery said, you need the surgery. I said, no, for what I want, I don't need to go water skiing. I'm not playing basketball anymore. I'm not doing all that stuff. I said, I don't need a whole lot of lateral movement. He goes, well, your muscles in your legs are compensating for it. He goes, when you're in your 50s and you quit lifting, he goes, you wish you had it done. I said, hey, I ain't quitting lifting. I said, the day I quit lifting is when they're, putting me in a box or putting me in an urn, you know? I mean,
so you didn't get it fixed?
No. And, when I had the opposite Patella tendon rupture, well, both Patella tendons have ruptured, but oddly enough, one of those was with Trey too. I don't know why I hung out with that guy so much, but But I said to the doctor that did the second one, former high state linebacker Greg Belisari.
Mm-hmm.
He did my surgery, and I said, "How's the ACL look in that leg?" He goes, "There isn't one." I said, "No, the other one's one that had rib." He goes, "There's not one on that one."
Oh, really?
I don't know whether he was joking with me or not, but yeah.
So you're seemingly walking around with no ACLs.
No.
Do you? Is there any like? Do you notice anything?
I used to, and sometimes it gives a little bit if I try like going down, if I'm carrying something and going out to the garage and taking that step down sideways.
Okay.
Every once in a while I used to be a give, but I mean, I've had so much, other stuff done to my legs, like I say, both patellas were repaired, and I've had, both scoped. So, but no, I really don't notice anything. Okay. I really don't. I walk a lot, I got 2 dogs still. Okay. So I'm walking in mornings and nights, and sometimes the knees get sore and achy, but I figure that's more probably being 57 than, not having ACLs.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my knees are achy and I'm 37. So,
and by no means, before anybody watches this, I am not condoning not getting ACL surgeries. I am not condoning that.
No, it just worked out for you, right? I mean, every individual is different. Yeah. That's amazing. So I know you went to West Virginia.
Yes.
You're a huge West Virginia Virginia Mountaineer fan. Mm-hmm. What did you go to school for?
I went to school and got a degree in English education, English and journalism education, and had two job offers. One as a teacher in Manassas, Virginia, and the other one as a at a newspaper in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And I just always was intrigued by newspapers.
Okay. And that's so that's why you went out there to South Dakota was for that job.
Yeah.
And
they were suckers enough to hire me.
What was, when you working for that paper, what was your thing? What'd you do? Has it always been sports? Because I know you're a sports guy.
No, I went out there as a copy editor, news copy editor, and then I joined about a year and a half later. I joined the sports department, and then got moved up to assistant sports editor, and then went back over to news as assistant news editor. And about that time, we found out we were going to have Taylor, and thought it was wise to get closer to home. And I think Columbus 2.5 hours away, so that's probably it's close enough but far enough, I think. And Columbus is a pretty cool city.
Yeah. And did you get a job before you moved back to Columbus, or did you have to find something? Okay.
Yeah, no, Jonna did. Yeah, I told her, I was like, hey, if you want to go back so bad, go get a job. And she hopped in, Jonna, she hopped in the car, took off, came back 4 or 5 days later and said, all right, I start this job here. And I'm like, blessed, you just laugh.
Were you loving life out there in South Dakota?
Yeah, I liked it. It's funny because I still get a kick out of people saying, "Oh, give it 5 minutes, the weather will change in Ohio."
Yeah,
man, you've never seen anything in your life like South Dakota. I mean, the summers were hotter, and the winters obviously were colder.
Yeah,
and I mean, it's I loved it out there. My in-laws loved it out there. You go out there, and first thing you do is get a oil pan heater, because you wonder why they have all these electrical outlets all over town, so you can plug your car in the winter.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's just crazy. I mean, the hillbilly from West Virginia, boy, that blew my mind. Why do they got electric on these poles here at the mall? You'll find out in about 3 months. But yeah, we went there. And the first year we were there, I think it was like September 19th, because that was Mom and Dad's anniversary, and it started snowing a little bit. and John and I went into a move, and we came out and snow was halfway up the tires.
Oh no.
And I just had I still had the Datsun F10 station wagon that was bright yellow, and that got traded in real soon for a truck.
Sure. So you move back, go to Columbus. What's the first job you get when you come back to Columbus?
This is the only one I've had.
Oh, really?
Newspaper. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I mean,
and just worked around there, around the paper.
And I came here as a reporter, and about 2 weeks into being a reporter, the sports editor quit, and my boss asked me. He said, "Hey, you got a sports background. You can be a sports editor." I was like, "Yeah, why not?" So I, did that, and then he promoted to assistant managing editor, and then promoted to managing editor. So it's been cool. Even now, we still dabble. I still dabble in both news and sports, which is kind of cool. And I help our shows group with banquets. So it's not the same thing every day, which I think that's really what, even after all these years, makes it appealing to me. That I love getting up every morning and starting work. I really do. Maybe it sounds corny. And maybe the guys I work with, the people I work with, are going to listen and say a guy's full of crap, but it really is the truth. I can tell you, there's only been 2 days in 29 years that I didn't want to go to work.
Yeah.
And so.
Well, that's what everyone I always tell kids when I'm talking to them on the football team. I've said it before, but during the football season, I'll talk to seniors and I ask them, "Hey, what are you doing after high school? Are you going to college? You going to trade school? Get a job?" And I'm just interested in what they're, what they want to do. And because I always tell them, like, if you find a job that you really love, then you'll figure out how to live with the money that you're making, right? Because you're happy. This is what I want to do. Here's the money. Okay, I'll figure it out. And then there's, if it's a good company, there's other opportunities there. It's tough to get a job strictly because of the money. My dad worked at a GM factory for 31 years and he hated it, but he had 4 kids and he had to, my mom lost her jobs toward the end, so he was working a lot then too to support everyone, and he hated it. And I learned from him, like, I don't want to get up for work every day and just not and hate it.
And that's good. I don't care what you're doing. I mean, look at the contracts in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys are making millions, but they want to make more. There's not a person on this earth that doesn't want to make more money.
Sure.
I don't care if you're Elon Musk. He wants to make more.
Yeah.
That's part of motivation. But it's very true. Happiness, man, there's something about being happy. I laugh with a buddy of mine who's a FedEx driver,
mm-hmm.
and we hey, you like what you do.
Yeah.
You'll, like you say, you'll make the money work out.
Yep. Yeah. It's a hard thing to figure out though, and sometimes you've got to figure it out on your own. I mean, no high school kid is going to listen to adults a lot of times, and you figure it out for the most part. Hopefully, people figure that out, because I know I have, and lucky for me, my wife has a good job too, and helps support us. So it's which makes it me able to do all these other things like this podcast or coaching football. A time off from that, it's
yeah. I say that now, knowing that I'm making payments on a wedding. Taylor's getting married in August.
Nice.
I'm a grandpa. I don't know if Trey told you that.
Well, she
it's on Facebook. Yeah.
That too, but I can't remember if last time I saw you, if she was pregnant then or not. I don't remember. I can't remember.
She's just, Finley's about 3.5 months old.
Okay, all right. So well, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah,
I mean, you're gonna be you're probably the awesomest grandpa ever.
Well, I tell you what, I don't know about that because it's only 3.5 months. I don't know if anybody's ever the best ever, but all I want to be is in the conversation.
Oh yeah.
Just give me in the conversation is best, and I'm happy with that.
You said when you came to Columbus, you started as a reporter for a few weeks. Is that a difficult job to do? Because it seems like it sometimes it'd be easy and sometimes it'd be hard to like, hey, here's a story I got to report on. I got to get all my facts, all this stuff. It just seems it could be difficult.
When you're, you just have to be prepared. It's like any other job, and we always had a sign hanging up with it was a person had a shirt on that said reporter and throwing a dart at a dartboard and saying, today I'm an expert in, and there's 100 topics up there. But I just tell people, if you're honest with the people you're talking with, I mean, when I started out, it was, there wasn't the internet.
Yeah.
Hey, I remember we damn near threw a party in South Dakota and we got our first fax machine. So we didn't have to sit like this and take track invitationals, top 6 places over the phone like this, and then you just sit around like this and, have somebody shove your head back up. We got a fax machine. We thought, how's it getting better than this?
Yeah.
But I had to cover gymnastics meet, state gymnastics. Hell, I'd never covered you. Before we got on there, you said your daughter sometimes does gymnastics above you.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about gymnastics. So I literally went to one of the coaches and said, hey, the week of the meet, I said, can I come over and talk to you? I don't know anything about this. I'm going to cover it. And I don't want either one of us looking stupid because of me.
Yeah.
And she told me, of all the people who've come out here, you're the only one to do that. She goes, I will help you with anything. And I just, I mean, it kind of goes what I've always told people, asking questions isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength.
Yeah.
You have enough confidence to ask questions. And, I tell everybody now, there's things that I come across. Hell, I've been in this business, 35 years. Okay. I've been in this business 35 years. I still ask questions. Yeah. I still, hey, Scott, what do you think? Andy, what do you think? Mm-hmm. And because I figured the moment, I have all the answers is the time I'm done.
Well, that's important for people to know that just because we're adults doesn't mean we have all the answers. I've told many people, if you ask me a question, because I'm a supervisor at the Metro Park where I work at, I'm a football coach. If you ask me a question and I don't know the answer, I'm going to tell you I don't know. But let me figure it out for you. I'll find
exactly.
It, right?
That's the key.
Yeah,
that's the key. You don't say I don't know and leave it at that. I'll find out.
Yeah.
I'll get back to you. I'll find out. And that's the key to that is the key to it. Because if you just say, I don't know. Okay, well, who do I turn to?
Yes. Yeah.
Who do I turn to? You're someone I look up to, Lorenzo. If a kid's saying that to you, I look up to you. And it's mine. I look up to him and he says, I don't know. No. And you're not that kind of guy. I knew that.
Yeah.
I'll find out and get back to you. We'll figure this out. That's the way it's intended to be.
Yeah, because if you say I don't know and leave it at that, then guess what? They're not going to go to you anymore. They're going to find somebody else, and then you're useless.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then you wonder. Then you wonder. Why aren't they coming to me?
Yeah.
It's like the football coach that always yelled at you. And a buddy of mine told me. He said, "Yeah, you always ask the coach. You're always yelling at me." He said, "Mark, don't worry about me yelling at you." He goes, "You worry when I don't yell at you."
Yeah.
Because when I don't yell, that means I don't care.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
are you still covering sports right now? You said you do a little bit of both. Do you do sports?
I don't get out and actually cover events. I'll try to go to one or so. I mean, football is really tough because I do a football show on Friday nights during the high school season.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. And when they had the Thursday night games, I'd go out to those and every once in a while, but it's tough because we're talking about football, for 2 hours now. And, outside of going out to practices, I don't see, maybe an occasional Saturday game, but you don't see a whole lot. But that doesn't mean you don't know what you're talking about.
Sure. I mean,
That mean I do know what I'm talking about.
I was like, how do you fill 2 hours? That's a lot.
Yeah, but we have a great guy, Ryan, running the show.
Yeah.
And then when the pandemic, the station decided not to do a game of the week, and so we brought the guy that was the analyst on the game broadcast into the studio, former coach, and so it's just a great trio, and it's I'd never say it's easy, but because you got to prepare.
Yeah.
But the show is as fun as anything I've ever done. I've been doing, a radio show in Columbus probably for 8, 9, probably 15 years.
Wow. Okay. That's
almost back to when you guys were playing.
Yeah, that's a long time. It'll be 19 years since we graduated. It is a long time. So you've been, I remembered when you said that, I remember you do the radio show and I wasn't sure if you still do it, but is it just high school football on those Friday
just
nights?
High school, yeah.
Okay.
Just high school on Friday nights.
And just cover the big area, Columbus area, and all the teams around there.
Yeah. And which is good, which has come a long way.
Yeah.
And since I got here, it's really come a long way. And but no, I mean, with my job now, it's desk, computer screens, and it's mostly that. Every once in a while I'll get to go out and go to an event, whether it's news or sports, and I just the proverbial kid in the candy store, because it is kind of neat to do it.
Yeah.
But then I talk to our some of our sports writers, and I see what they're doing, and it's a different breed. It really is. I mean, I love covering sports, and I covered it. I covered it, like I say, for about 3 years in Sioux Falls, and then when I first got here. But I mean, we have one of our guys who during the postseason tries to see how many events he can go to in one day.
Oh, geez.
And that's just Herculean to me.
Does he have kids?
Oh yeah, 3. That's why he's doing it probably.
Well, do you guys need a high school correspondent from Northwest Ohio? I can call in on Friday nights.
There you go. Yeah. Would have you do it. Actually, call you from the sideline. Have you call from the sideline for game updates.
Well, we played in the playoffs. We lost to Marysville last year.
Yeah.
That running back, he's going to Ohio State as a linebacker, I think.
Linebacker, Gabe Powers.
Yeah. So that guy, he looked so much bigger on the field. It was crazy. It's crazy to see those like legit D1 guys.
Well, one game they put him back here returning punts.
Yeah.
And there was a highlight on TV that there's about 140-pound kid who made a business decision. went low as he could.
Yeah.
And Gabe just stepped right over him. We sitting there watching like, Mike. I mean, he's quite an athlete. His brother's good. He's got a cousin whose team was good. I mean, all that. They were, it kid is something special.
Yeah. It obviously sucked to lose, but it's cool to see talent like that, and just the pure size, right? We have kids on our team, like even when we have a tackle right now who is going to University of Toledo, who just committed to University of Toledo. Grant Zimmerly, his brother plays at BGSU, and our running back he has an offer to UT and Army, and he's been playing since he's a freshman. But to see those guys that don't come around very often, and when they go through our program, like it's just cool to see, like it's cool to see them just like become what you hope for when you see them in 8th grade or 7th grade, you know, and then to like, hey, I coached these kids or whatever. It's a cool thing. Or played against, Gabe Powers or seen him.
Yeah, well, and it also lets the guys on your team who are coming back to see what they can be.
Yes.
it gives them motivation as well.
There's always such a big jump. I noticed when I was the freshman head coach, I noticed a huge jump from freshmen to sophomores because they got that varsity coaching. Like they might not be varsity players, they might be JV players, but there's such a huge jump. And then the next time I see a big jump is when they're juniors into senior year, because there's something in their mind that says, well, I'm a senior. I have to be better. I have to prepare more. I have to do all this stuff. And there's always just another level that these seniors go through sometimes where it's like, wow, it's awesome to see that.
Yeah. And it's a reality to hit seniors. It hit you when you were a senior, hit me when I was a senior. Shit, this is it. Mm-hmm. Because only a small percentage go on to play college.
Yeah, it's fun, and it's fun to talk to them about it because just to get inside their head, like because I know a lot of these kids. I've known them for a long time, and I'll be straight with them. I go, what's going on this year? Last year you sucked, man. Like you were bad, and they'll tell me like, I know I was bad, but I felt like I just felt like I had to do better this year because, like you said, this is it, no more, and to hear them say it. It doesn't make me feel bad when I tell them that they suck or they did before.
No, that's part of them respecting you, though.
Yeah.
You can say that, and they can, like you said, he goes, yeah, I did. If he didn't respect you, he'd be like, yeah, whatever, coach, I appreciate that. But I think that's the big thing with it. It's just about respect, and
mm-hmm.
Respect, and as you well know, respect earns both ways. You earn the kids' respect, and the athlete earns your respect.
Mm-hmm.
It works that way. When you got that together, that's where coaching really becomes, I imagine, very fun.
Yeah. Oh, very fun. You said, I imagine, have you ever coached anything with any of your daughter's stuff?
Yeah, I coached rec league soccer one year, and it was.
It didn't want to go back.
Well, when we first moved here to Columbus, a friend of mine I went to college with, he was a high school coach, and he said, "Hey, would you be interested in coaching?" And I was like, "Yeah, we just moved to Columbus. No, I'm good." And Taylor, I think it was her 5th grade year in soccer, and I honestly don't know how coaches do this. I don't know how you do it, because all I know is, after the first game's like at 6:00, it's over by 7. After you do all the stuff, I was home by 8. I was in bed at 8:01. I was so exhausted. I didn't even know how I made it into the house. And I thought, this is rec league girls soccer. Now you don't have to do parent control for when you're coaching football, and that's part of the frustrations. But yeah, I was just plumb exhausted. But I will say it was kind of fun, to see what you talk to the girls about come to fruition on the field, and to say, if you stay over here, when the ball's over here, it could come to you and you can just kick it in.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Lee, I don't score goals. I've never scored a goal. Just listen to me. And to see a kid score a goal who's never scored a goal and getting, mobbed by her teammates, comes over and gives me a hug. I'm sitting here thinking, now I can see why people do get it.
That's why you coach right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's funny because the one coach that is Larry Wolf, who coached Columbus Academy and Bishop Reedy here in Columbus. He said, what always motivated him was to strive for perfection. He said, I told my assistants, if we ran one perfect play, either in practice or a game, I was retiring.
Mm-hmm.
He said, and I coached 40 years.
Yeah.
He goes, there's a couple times 10 guys did it perfect and one guy didn't. He goes, I was sitting there thinking, I'm almost out of here.
Yeah,
you find that, and I think in another world I might have gone into coaching, because I do think that would be, enjoyable, rewarding, and just to see the athletes grow. I think that's going to be the most special part of it.
That's
you love the winning and losing. Don't get me wrong. You love the winning and lose. You love the winning. You hate the losing. But I just think seeing the growth of the kids would be phenomenal.
That's what I enjoy about coaching. My son's baseball team, or last year was my daughter's coach pitch team. Is I enjoy the growth of the kids too, and I see it in football. It's just from year to year, and for 5 and 6 year old coach pitch, it's from week to week. First week of the 11 kids, maybe 3 hit off my pitches and the other ones had to bring tees out. By the end of the year, they're all hitting off my pitches. And like to see that growth in such a short amount of time, like that's what it's like, oh man, this is crazy. It's amazing. Yeah. What's happening here?
I'll tell you what though, there's no sweating like coach pitch sweat when you're the guy out there throwing the ball too.
Oh, I've hit batters too, my own batters.
I mean, give me a practice swing. Okay, I'm going to try to hit that spot.
Yeah, all the time. Everyone knows that, right? That's why I say, all right, if they've missed a couple, all right, let me just see a swing. Swing it for me. Let's see. Like get a practice one. And you're just like, really, this is for me. It's a game for me. I'm just trying to hit the bat. You're just swinging it.
You just swing it. Yeah, because when Len still lived in West Virginia, his oldest daughter Olivia was playing, and Dad was out there watching the game, and Len's out there pitching coach pitch.
Yeah,
and struck out the side, and my dad's out in center field going, "That's my boy!"
Oh man, that's awesome.
Len's gonna shoot me.
That's so good. I'm nervous this year because it's softball and it's the same thing. So the kids will pitch, but if they walk them, then the coach comes out and pitches.
Oh, okay.
But it's been forever since I've thrown underhand. So I got to make sure to get as much practice in as they do before our first game.
Oh yeah, I remember we had girl on the team who was just so much more advanced than the other girls. Her dad's like, she doesn't hit the real soft ones. You gotta put some smoke behind it. And I'm like, I don't like doing that.
I'm just trying to get it over the plate right now.
I'm just trying to hit bats, man.
Yeah,
just give me a break.
Put some heat on it. What am I, Nolan Ryan up here? Get out of here.
I know.
Oh man. So you've been in Columbus for forever now. Is it? How do you feel about Ohio State fans?
Ohio State what?
How do you feel about Ohio State fans? Because I have a pretty opinion that I've had.
They're like most of your major college fan bases. I mean, they're passionate. I've gone to Ohio State games. I went to the first night game with lights, the Northwestern game.
Oh wow, okay.
And we left at halftime because we were there, or 4 of us there, and if memory serves, I think Maurice Claret was playing.
Okay.
But anyways, Ohio State scored a couple touchdowns. We were in the end zone right in front of us, and you stand up, yeah. And I had pulling on my shirt or my coat. Sit down. What? Sit down.
Jeez.
And so it was probably a couple years later, I took a couple Ohio State fans over to West Virginia game.
Yeah.
And we left. And I said, one of them, I said, what's the biggest difference between going to Ohio State and West Virginia game? He goes, oh, it's easy. He goes, Ohio State game. He goes, if you stand up, people tell you sit down. He goes, you go to a West Virginia game, you sit down, you got somebody smacking you inside of the head saying, stand up and cheer. Now, again, I'm not, that was my experience. And I know Ohio State can get loud as all get out. And I've been there. Oh, what game was that? It was, I can't think of the game. Might have been Michigan State.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Outside of maybe a handful of events. I don't know that I've ever been around anything so loud.
Really?
I mean, it was just like the loudest thing I've ever been to was baseball game in Minneapolis when I covered the Minnesota Twins. I mean,
they're playing in that dome, right?
Yeah, I got on the press box phone and was screaming at the top of my lungs to John, and she couldn't hear me, on the other end.
That's got to be so fun. I feel like. Well, I guess if you're trying to do a job, it might not be fun. But
it was fun. I always tell people you were living a Major League Baseball player's life on a journalism salary. So,
okay.
But I mean, it was fun. It was something covering the games in Atlanta. I'd never trade that for anything. I mean, that was neat as hell.
That's that's always one thing I would really want to do, because I love sports, and to be in it, to like talk to people all the time, to meet people, and it just, I don't know, it just seems like a real fun thing.
Yeah, it is. I got to see the Minnesota Timberwolves, first home game, and I was against the Bulls and Michael Jordan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And, you always know how good that guy was, obviously.
Yeah.
But when I got stat sheet at the end of the game, I'm sitting there thinking, he probably had, 18, 20 points, a handful of this. He was in the 30s. And I mean, it was just done so effortlessly. It was just amazing. Yeah. And, I get really back into old school, seeing Barry Sanders. Mm-hmm. Got to see him play a couple times in Minneapolis. I'll never forget. It was Keith Millard who played, and hey, let me pick that up. I dropped the name. But after the game, he, you'd ask questions on. I just said, "What's it like tackling Barry Sanders?" He said, "Go try to tackle air." And I was just like, that's true, because you see these highlights of him, and you're like, people are just like this.
Yeah. Everyone always talks about, because I'm a big Cowboys fan, and Emmitt Smith broke the rushing record, and so many Detroit fans are like, well, Barry Sanders would have done it if he would. Yeah, he would have done it, but he retired, so he didn't do it. I don't know.
Woulda, shoulda.
Yeah, I don't know what are you arguing here. You're not arguing anything. Of all in all your 35 years of working for newspapers and stuff, what's do you have like one thing that really stands out, or a couple things that you did, or stories you've written, or places you've gone, something that stands out to you, or maybe it's somebody you met, that you think about still? I know.
Wow, off the top of my head, because I haven't really thought about it, but just by nature of the job. I mean, I got to meet President Bush.
Oh, wow. Okay.
When he came through, I did learn a lesson that you don't run, you don't see Secret Service and take off running the other direction like a buddy of mine and I did.
Oh, no.
Little bit explaining to do on that one.
Yeah.
We thought it was a funny joke for a second. Just some of the people in clubs. I mean, I did a TV show with Jim Lachey.
Okay,
one of the most genuine human beings on earth.
Yeah,
just a great guy. There's as far as things I've covered, I like I say, I don't, the Memorial Golf Tournament's always neat, to go out there, cover that. I don't do that anymore. But the World Series was phenomenal. I mean, the World Series is something I'd never forget.
Yeah.
It was so neat to do that. Being out there in Atlanta, the old Fulton County Stadium, which was, it was a cesspool. I mean, under the bowels, you'd see rats and everything. Man. Yeah. But it was as neat as anything. covered, college football games. I mean, it's all been fun. I mean, it's, I know it's, I'll get right off of here and say, damn it.
Yeah, sure.
That's the one.
No, that's all right. It's a tough question for somebody who's been doing it for so long. That's a tough question to answer, because I'm sure you don't sit around thinking like, oh, what are my favorite things I've done in 1990, like,
and, but it's, but like I say, anymore, I don't get out a whole lot anymore.
Yeah.
Which is both good and bad. I mean, I'd cover a game every Friday in South Dakota, and the one game it had snowed for 2 days, so it was about on the side of the road about 2 foot of snow.
Yeah.
And it decided to get cold. And, so it's about 0. It's miserable. And I told the sports editor, I said, you want to have somebody else in here help you. It's a lot for one person. He goes, yeah, that'd be nice. I said, I'll do it. I'll take one for the team.
I got you.
And I even say to our guys now, hey, how's that game out there tonight? Oh, it's 40 degrees and rain. And how you doing? Well, the studio's 72 and sunny.
Actually, it's a little hot in here. So I think.
Yeah. Well, I do it. I do that to my buddy. You might not find it funny, but I do it to my buddy who drives FedEx. It's 30 degrees and sleeting.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing, John? Real good. How you doing? I had to take off my sweatpants because, man, it's just so hot in the house. Click.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, you've earned that, right? You've worked long. You've worked. You've been out there. This is your time to do this part of it now.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. It's one way to look at it.
Hey, you're too old to be out there. You can't. You're no ACL having ass. You can't just be out there running around.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well,
I ain't running anywhere, pal.
No.
My house catches fire. I briskly walk out.
Did you have Trey working for you too when he was staying with you guys? I thought
that's kind of a funny story, because he was at the house and one of our guys called up and said, I've gotten sick. I can't go to the game. It was a big game, but it happened to be in Roansburg where I live.
Yeah.
And so I called Trey and said, what are you doing? He goes, nothing. I said, good. You're going to cover a football game for us. Is that okay? He goes, what? I said, go in my closet, grab a This Week shirt, put it on, go down there and cover the game. You'll be fine. And that was a start. Yeah, he covered football games for us for 3 years?
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and he covered a lot of Gahanna's games. He kind of got in good with the folks at Gahanna. And I won't say it's because they've got good press box food. That's why Trey liked being there.
I'm just still trying to wrap my head around him putting on one of your shirts.
Exactly. He goes, this doesn't fit. I said, you put a jacket on.
Just tie it in the back.
Exactly.
Well, I thought that was I always thought it was neat. Now that I think about it now as an adult, like just have like your nephew staying with you. You're helping him out. And obviously just with football stuff, he was helping you out with that. I'm sure he helped you out with more things, but it was a real neat time. Yeah.
That's something that you don't expect, but something you really treasure.
Yeah.
Because I'll laugh about it still at times. Some of the things that we did, some of the things that went on, both knucklehead and, serious.
Yeah.
But it goes back to how we started this conversation.
Yeah.
That's our family. That's many families. I mean, if did you ever hear how that started?
How Trey went down there or lived with you guys?
Yeah.
I don't know why. I know he was at OU.
He was coming back from OU. Sorry, Trey. He was coming back from OU and said he was on his way back. Are you guys going to be home? And it was the night we put out our football tab that it went to press.
Okay.
So it's like a week of just crazy hours are done. So John and I would always go down to BW3s, have a beer, have some wings, come home, sleep till Sunday.
Yeah.
And Trey says, well, I'll meet you. I'm coming there. And I said, okay, come on. We'll go down. And we went down, and I said, just spend the night. And they got up, hanging around. He's just, hey, once you want to, is it okay if I stay the weekend? Yeah, I don't care. Stay as long as you want.
Yeah.
And that's what,
Stay as long as you want. Well, I didn't mean 3 years, but
hey, but I tell him, if he hadn't stayed here with me, would never have met Kate.
Yeah.
And wouldn't have 3 wonderful kids.
Oh, yes.
So I take a lot of credit for that.
As you should. Well, Lee, thanks. I'll hold you to an hour like we talked about, but I appreciate you coming on here. Like I said, I enjoyed the conversation, and maybe I know it's pretty busy for you and stuff, but maybe during the football season we can catch up and talk about Columbus football and the happenings.
I would love to. There's you, Lorenzo, and I do mean this. Anytime you call, I'll answer, and we'll do this. Awesome. I enjoy it. I enjoy talking with you. I'd love to get up. Love to get up in that area a little bit more. Leslie and Mike are over there in Elmore.
Yeah.
So, and do you still live in Perrysburg?
I live in Perrysburg. Yep.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, we have a guest room in the basement. Come on up.
Hey.
Yeah.
And that's highfalutin for me.
Yeah.
Give me a couch. But it's good to talk. It's good to I know that you're doing well, and that makes me feel good, because there was a time where I could pick on you. That time's long past. but it's good to see you, Trey, Kurt, Gump, just all those guys, just doing well, and I'm not surprised. I mean,
well, we're actually all getting together in June. We're all there's 9 of us going down to Austin and hanging out. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
But you guys, but the thing of it is, that doesn't even concern me, because you guys all have good heads on your shoulders.
Yeah.
You'll have fun, but you're not stupid.
Correct.
And that's one thing I've always admired about you guys.
Yeah.
I saw that at Trey's wedding. That struck me. Seeing how you guys were. You guys seem to be doing this damn adulting thing pretty well.
Well, thank you. Thanks. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you coming on the podcast and having this conversation.
All right, have a good one, Lorenzo.
Yep, you too. Thanks everybody for checking out this episode of the Nerdball Podcast. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you're hearing this, on any of the podcatchers, on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. We're coming at you 2 times a week now, audio and video. Check us out on all the social medias. Just search the Nerdball Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We're out there. Gmail is the nerdballpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to shoot us an email, we'd be happy to get back to you. Thanks to Real JP Multimedia, Cuttlefish Graphics, Perrysburg Junior High STEM Lab, and Big Daddy Graphics for helping out the podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.